Yo, so this video is a obviously tips video for victims in Texas Chainsaw Massacre the game. I just want to say before I get into it that these are my personal tips so far from what I've gathered playing the game. Doesn't mean they have to be right for people. Doesn't mean they have to be wrong. I just felt like posting this, so maybe it'll help someone. Other than that, I'm gonna get straight to it. I hope you all enjoy it, and let me know if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. So tip number one I have is spam to get out at the beginning, cause a lot of people don't do this. So odds are, if you're the one doing it in your game, you'll probably be one of the only two or just one doing it. And people think it will wake up Grandpa instantly. It won't wake up Grandpa instantly. Maybe if you have like 3 or 4 people do it, but other than that, it's always worth it. Nothing wakes Grandpa up guaranteed except for opening a basement door. If you have the ability to and Grandpa's not up yet, just stay quiet in the game no matter what. Even if you're Leland and Sonny, because as long as Grandpa's not up, the only killer that can stay in the basement with you is Leatherface. And of course, when it comes to looping him, if you just go through crawl spaces, you will be perfectly fine. Okay, so contradicting my last tip, if Grandpa is up and you're in the basement or anywhere, spam, because there's honestly no point in trying to be stealthy whenever you can have any of the killers down there with you anytime or up top with you anytime. The only time you maybe don't want to spam is if you have like, I don't know, maybe super high proficiency or high stealth, but other than that, just spam because there's no point anymore. While Grandpa's on his little hunt, you can be in the middle of any action and he will not pick you up unless you're like crawling through something, hopping over something, climbing a ladder. But if you're kicking a gen, turning a battery off, lock picking, searching something, opening a door, he will not detect you. So keep that in mind. So this tip, some people might think is goofy, but it's helped me quite a bit. Typically whenever I'm playing with friends, but obviously there is toilets around the map and you can flush them and make them as a distraction. And you might be like how I was, and I was like, why, if I did this, why would the killer fall for it? Because they know you can use a distraction. Killers go to it. I don't know why. I guess because they think they can make it to you quick enough to, I guess, catch you. But like, it's really handy. Like if you have a teammate that's like opening a lockpick at a back exit and you click it while a killer's near, they can really save them and help them, and it has a lot for me. So in the midst of talking about distractions, you can use exits as distractions. Typically the fuse and valve exits. If any killer hears that valve turn on and start hissing, they will flood that floodgate. I'm telling you right now, they will dart to it like their life depends on it. Same with the fuse. They will literally go down there to block it. So right here in this video, they were just guarding the fuse and stuff, or valve, I mean, sorry. And I managed to turn it on and get them to camp it, except for one killer that finally followed me. And in the midst of this time, my teammate was already opening the back exit for me. So it was really good using it as a distraction. Okay, so for this tip, it's kind of out of the game, but it has to do with your attributes. So the way I'm going to explain this is sync your attributes up with the perks you're running. So right here you can see I have a perk called Choose Flight. So basically whenever my stamina runs out completely, it'll take a charge away from my perk and completely refill my stamina. So knowing I have this perk, I don't care about endurance, like upgrading it truthfully, especially on Sun because he already has naturally high endurance. But perks like that, right, I play around. So I take those attributes and upgrade my toughness where I need it, or stealth or something. You could do this with just about every character, just upgrade around it. I don't know if this is exactly a tip, but I'm putting it in here. So your skill trees, as you know, you can respec them. And when you respec them, it'll refund you all your points you spent going right, left, or top with the skill tree. And basically, when you refund that, obviously you can go a different path. But I don't know if people realize, those perks you were using that you just refunded, if you get back, they will keep their level. So if you're scared that you're going to lose and waste levels or waste your ability level even, it does not waste, it stays there. Okay, so this tip for my DVD players, just treat doors like pallets. Killers catch on to the fact that you can stun them with it, so if you like fake it, they will dart from that. They will run away. And if you've never played Dead by Daylight, basically what I mean by this is if you run by a door and they're not right on you, if you kind of like double back towards the door, the killers will suspect you to slam it on them and they'll kind of back up, and this can buy you time to run away. So it typically works if you've already stunned the killer multiple times and you're kind of irritating them, but yeah. Okay, so in TCM there is an item that victims can get called Bone Scrap. Now what this Bone Scrap does, it can do multiple things. You can disarm hitchhiker traps with it, you can grapple with killers that aren't Leatherface, although that's kind of risky because if you're in the midst of grappling and you're full HP and any other killer hits you, they will kill you instantly. It's stupid. I don't know why. You can grapple with killers for close encounters, and you can sneak attack killers from behind, and this is typically best, in my opinion, on Bubba. So while he's sawing something, you can just attack him from behind and cancel that action on him. As well as if he's trying to start up his chainsaw for some reason because he like revved up too high and you stab him, it'll reset his progress. Okay, so I guess this is kind of a sweaty tip, but it's still a tip. You can change your perks based on the killers you see at the beginning of the game. So in this game, I saw a Sissy, and Sissy's overpowered. I don't care what anyone says. So knowing that, I switched to a perk. I don't even know what it's called, but it basically makes her poison not as effective on me. This can also work with Hitchhiker. Obviously, you know he has traps, and you either step in them and dismantle it, or you dismantle it with a bone scrap. There is a perk that lets you dismantle traps without bone scrap. There's also a perk to counter poisoned objects as well as padlocks from the cook. So you can just switch your perks based on these killers pre-game. So for this tip, it is learn an exit for each map that you're comfortable with. So for example, on Family House, I know the fuse like the back of my hand. So I always go in the storage down there where this basement door is, and then I go up top. And typically I check the kitchen right here, this door to the right, which I don't do in this game. But I look for the fuse there, and if it's not there, I just go up top and I find the fuse box. But basically, whenever I turn it on, I gotta just go back down the same set of stairs. And what's good about it is it's such a short distance to make it to the fuse box that it's not risky. I can tank hits, especially if I have health. And for example, like on gas station, the fuse as well, I do the back exit and the valve I know. But I maybe this isn't a good tip. I know most people just know their own exits now, but maybe if someone's new and they see this video, get used to escapes on multiple maps that you're comfortable with. Hiding in bushes is honestly a great strat. It works. It just works a lot. So okay, so to be quite honest with you, this next tip, I don't have footage of because I don't do it personally, but it's actual hiding spots. Like, I'm pretty sure, and from what I've heard, at least from friends and people I've played with, hiding works because, I'm serious, killers do not check them. Tell me a killer that you've seen actually check a spot. I've never checked it. I've never seen a killer check it. I've never watched someone on stream check it. So, if you feel like, you know, you want to hide one of those, go for it. But it's probably not worth it in game. So yeah, keep that in mind. You can latch doors. Is this worth it? Personally, to me, no. Because if a killer's right on you, at that point, you might as well just slam the door and get a stun and then run away. But I know if people want to search something or there's a killer on them like Sissy or something, they do want to latch the door if they can, because all they can do is barge. But if it's against a Bubba and it's only a Bubba, there's no point because he can just saw through it really quickly. When you load in, look for any type of crawl spaces that you can just go ahead and open, because odds are later on in the match you will end up there again, and if they're open already, then that's good. And if not, it's just gonna be a cuck having to spam open it and get hit for it. So, or this tip is my favorite thing. You can stab Gramps, and what this does is immobilizes him, preventing him from hunting survivors and scanning and being fed. I guess it's worth it. I mean, you get a lot of points for it too. It's especially worth it if you have this perk called Agitator, which takes his family bond levels down depending on the level. So it's very good. My next tip, please don't grab 2 health pack thingies, because if you do this, you're just going to have 2 health packs until you're either injured and have to use one, and if you're not injured, you're just holding on to them. And if you grab a lockpick or a bone scrap, that health pack thing is just useless because it's disappeared forever, and you could use it later on in the match. The only way to not, to prevent this is maybe if you find the fuse, you can swap them out for it and then go do whatever you want. So just don't grab 2. If you have a bone scrap, you can cut down bones and you'll get points, and it'll disable the bones as well as you'll get to keep your bone scrap. So cool. Honestly, I'm not even count this as a tip, but you can trap lights and stuff with bone scrap and lockpicks. I don't know what it does, but you can do it. So for this tip, if you were in a given situation where you're being chased by 1 or more killers and you just got nothing, there's nothing you can do, find a well. Wells typically spawn at the exact same place on every single map, and your best bet's just to run around those and loop it and buy your team time to do something. So obviously though, as you're falling, they can hit you, which will make you fall faster, and that's not good because you lose a lot of HP, and it's really bad if they have that one killer perk where they see you. But typically, if you have a team alive with you, this is worth it to drop and reset. Okay, so this tip is probably controversial. A lot of people will think they know something better, which they probably will, because I don't have experience in every single character. I do a lot in Sunny and some others, but utilize your abilities right. So for Sunny, you constantly have it up and ready to use. No matter what, I stay using that if I have the chance. If I'm mid-chase, then I'm using it to see if I'm running into a killer. Or if I'm climbing up a ladder, I'll use it to see if there's someone above me. If I'm going for a gate, I'll see if there's someone for there. Just use this info for my team. A Like Connie, I would use her ability not to just pick one lock, right? But you got to be careful because hers takes away your stamina pretty much. So let's say you're going to the front slaughterhouse. There's like 3 things you have to pick. So let's say you have 2 lock picks. You activate her ability, you can get through those first 2 light work easily, like while saving your team. Anna's, hers takes a while to come back, to my knowledge, as well as Leland's. But Anna's, I would use if a gate is open and I want to take hits for my team or myself to book it towards a gate, especially since killers like to block them. Leland's ability, in all honesty, I would save for Bubba, because if you're mid-chase with Bubba, what is there that you can do against him? Like, at least if you're in a one-on-one with the other killers and you have a bow knife, for example, you can grapple with them while playing Leland, because he has high strength naturally, so you'll probably win those encounters. So I would save his ability for Bubba. And Julie, I know hers like counters Cook and Johnny, which I don't utilize it for that. I utilize it for the stamina. So I would use it as a last resort to just, like, if you're mid-chase running somewhere, use it. Just use that ability and book it somewhere to have more stamina. So this is just a little tip I was thinking about in case people want to know how to use theirs. I don't have experience in most of those characters except Sunny and Julie. So, you know, odds are people in the comments, if they're watching this, would know way more than I do. So if you do, just feel free to let me know even. But figured I would just touch up on this a little bit. Okay, so that was the video. Maybe this helped some people, maybe not. Hopefully it did. If anyone seeing this has more tips for me, even, since I'm not the greatest at this game, obviously, just say something below, and I'll look at them. But other than that, that's the video.